I live in Bellevue. Yeah. But there was like literally, I mean, it didn't snow when I was there, but there was still snow residue left on the grass and stuff like that. So got a lot. It was, uh,
So is there any chance that you can have anywhere close to full squad either Thursday night or
I don't know. PJ hasn't been feeling well. Noah, his knee. So that's going to be to be determined. We'll see today if PJ practices or not, but he's been out.
But just how does that fundamentally change what you want to do? Because obviously you wanted to process.
Well, I think the biggest thing is the two young guys have they've been a little inconsistent, but they're very aggressive and good. Just be nice to have another, to be able to, teach by, substitutions and bringing guys out, talking to them, those types of things. But it's also a great experience for them. Got to learn sometimes the hard way, but they've been doing a really good job, just the consistency there. But normal freshman stuff.
How can you then if you are shorthanded, how can you get Cole back to going? These past 5 games for him, just really nothing.
Yeah, and you know what? He, it's you have a season where we're at 30 games in, you get 31 regular season games, and he's been very consistent for the most part, and he's just going through a little, tough spell that happens. We got to do a better job of trying to get him shots. Sometimes when you play the two younger guards and we're small, you need a little bit bigger of a presence in the back line. And so that rebounding part where Jamal Bay's been a little bit more aggressive, he's been playing well. But I think Cole's, he's due. He's a confident kid. He's had some good games. We need him to knock down some three-pointers. We just become different all around. It helps everybody. And, just keep giving him confidence, keep telling him to keep shooting them up and just find good ones.
Is it anything that he's not doing, or is he getting?
I think he is. I think sometimes he's just pressing a little bit. He was, the last game he played 26 minutes, sometimes in and out based on the game, where before it was more just consistent minutes. But, he's had some good practices, and that's where you kind of determine, just get your confidence, let it fly, and get some reps. And now we're home. So hopefully he'll be at his best.
It's and then obviously it's the last regular season game, and given his struggles, I mean, do you make any changes in the lineup and the black court?
No, I think you just go with it. He's Cole's been our starter all year. He's had some great games. He's had, he's just having a little rough patch, but we need him, to be that team, to, play to our best. We need him. He's our best 3-point shooter. When he's open, he's lethal. We need that for sure.
Can't remember a time where he's had to literally kind of shoot his way out of a slump.
Yeah.
How is that something new for him? Is he having to struggle with a piece that hasn't been?
I think a lot of times too how he's being defended. I mean, they're literally staying connected to him. Usually when you run ball screen, teams help off. They're not leaving him, so it's a little bit more difficult. But now you got to be a little bit more creative. We got to find him in transition. We've got 2 dynamic young guards that can really push the ball, and we need to be able to find Cole in transition, find Braxton in early post-ups, and that's part of the learning process for the 2 young guys because they have that ability. And I think, in the half court it's tough because the way they guard Cole, even in our set plays, they've just defended it a little bit differently. So, we got to look for opportunities in transition. Got to get better ball movement, all those things that happen.
He's in that aspect where, like Jamal, he has been able to sometimes defer, maybe ball fake or whatever, and get the whole be aggressive that way. When you're on the sidelines, you're talking to him, and maybe he's slumped a little bit from outside. Do you ask him to maybe think about other ways to score, or do you just say, "Look, you're a good shooter, confident guy"?
I think that you got to keep shooting. Obviously, you don't want him to if he's not confident to shoot it. But Cole's a confident player. I think the biggest thing that when we talk about his development, using the pump fakes more. He has been good on single line drives. 1 dribble, 2 dribble right to the basket. Guys that are shooters, it's always good to get fouled, to go to the foul line and see the ball go in a couple times. So I think those, like anybody, just takes one. But Cole's a confident guy. We know he's going to be make some shots. We just think we got to do a better job. We got to do a better job of trying to get him opportunities, and that's all of us. That's the coaching staff with plays. That's guys that are around him. That's Keop, Brooks, and Braxton. When you get double teamed, he's a weapon, and we got to use him.
Is the next evolution for Kenyon Minifield to be able to impact the game when he's not scoring? If he like doesn't.
I think so. I mean, the reason why he's our starting point guard is I haven't looked recently at the numbers, but in terms of assist to turnover ratio, he's got the best one on our team, and that's kind of been the Achilles heel or unforced turnovers. And so, yes, he has the ability to do it. I think both him and Corn have the ability to make everybody around them better. They also have the ability to score, but they have to think when they're running the team and they've got the ball, they've got to get us organized, get us into a set. They've got to find others. And then last resort, when they're not scoring, then look for your opportunities. And that's part of the maturation process for young guards.
Bryce, I mean, it looks like he really wants to take it another kind of shot above his own dog. And in the last couple of years, it looks like he's just really itching to back in on somebody, maybe skyhook over or just shoot a jumper over.
Yep.
What do you got to do to get him comfortable there?
I think it's like anything. It's he's more comfortable, like you said, like he's going up and under and getting it close to the basket and dunking. I think he's very good going to his left. He likes to go off his left shoulder and spin back, go to the right, come back to his left. But I think it's all comfort. I think he shot one in the last game. It's one of those things that you just got to keep developing. But if you can get a dunk, take the dunk. It's the highest percentage shot. I think he's second in the country in field goal percentage. And that's a good thing. I think the development, like you said, though, like the right-hand half hook, left-hand half hook, because people are just barreling him out. One of his strengths that we've seen that we love about him, and when he's off a little bit further out, when he passes it out and runs into a ball screen, we become dynamic. It allows our guards to get into the paint. And as anybody knows, getting in the paint on penetration or post-ups is an advantage. It forces defenses to collapse. So we've just got to keep improving in those areas.
Looks like defenses are sloughing off him a little bit more so they can protect the rim.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I've noticed is especially when they try to front him, it looks like, it just looks like the sea is behind.
Yeah.
I mean, how much have you had to really harp on your guys in the perimeter to get him the ball? Because it seems like they're really default.
I think a lot of the lost art in basketball is being confident post passers. It was like we finally got it. And then one of our guards, usually in post up, I played with a great player named Derek Coleman, and Derek would be like, pass me the ball. And Coach Bam would like, reverse it, because there was a weak side defender sitting down there, like they're collapsing. And so, you got to move it, and then you got to make it, but you got to be a confident post passer is what I'm trying to say. And a lot of times, like, we threw it away. He scored like 3 or 4 possessions in a row. That was the one thing that was working against Stanford when we cut it to 5. And then we try to throw it on the weak thing. The real read is the weak side defender. We got it stolen. They went down there. They made a 3. And so I think it's one of those things where, we've got to do a better job of getting these guys more comfortable. It's not something overnight where, it's like, okay, I'm going to be a comfortable post passer because this is what you worked on. You got to be in triple threat. You got to ball fake. If you don't have it, you got to reverse it really quick and play around that. One of our things that one of our strengths is when we have people closing out is attacking closeouts. The one thing that we did in the last game is we went to the foul line 25 times. I think when we go to the foul line and Braxton's ducking in, where we get, his aggressive duck ins have gotten us drives to the basket where we got wide open layups, almost like an offensive lineman, blocking for a running back. We just got to keep working on him because he's a threat. And we just got on those opportunities because he's also a willing passer too.
I remember talking to Colin at a 5-4 Norwoods on that team.
I was not on that team. I came in 89-90. But he was a freshman. That was at the national championship game against Indiana. But he was, an elite, great hands. You could throw it anywhere and he would go get it. That's another. It's always the weak side defender on the 3-quarter.
Is it also one of those things where with Keon, is there a fine balance? Because obviously he's had to really progress and evolve his game as to be the man, the scorer.
Yeah.
And yet clearly there are opportunities in the post. And yet he's looking for his. When you have two guys that are either open or trying to get their shots, because, the more shots a guy like Keon can get, the better he's going to be scoring the ball. It seems like a fine balance.
I think it is a fine balance because all you're doing, you're trying to get your best players the ball in areas where they can operate. And then what happens is when you have a guy who can create a double team. Now, are you a willing passer? It was the one thing that we had to get Noah Dickerson better at. He started getting double teams. He started really becoming a good passer, which Dom Green was able to get some open shots. It's really simple in that fact, but I don't think it's a challenge. I think you're just trying to get him areas where he can operate, and teams load up, double teams. They come from the top, they come from the passer, they come off the bounce, they come on the gray, which means it's like a baseline trap where they take away the middle. So they're getting a steady diet of a lot of different reads and looks. Keon Brooks probably hasn't been double teamed since he was a senior in high school. And Braxton Mee's probably never been double teamed in his life. So it's a learning process in those areas, making reads, making the right passes.
Well, it looks like when Drice gets the ball, he's double. He looks like he is making the right reads. Listen, the shots are falling. It feels like that you're just feeding into the defense, saying, "Okay, well, we're just going to keep backing."
Yeah. And Braxton's has developed in a good way that way. But that's why when we talk about dunks and deep post ins, being aggressive, using his physicality, keeping him out of foul trouble, as you've seen in every game. As soon as he's off, he gets subbed. It's like a different team. We've had to find ways to figure that out. So keeping him on the court early, but also I really believe his physicality can open up driving lanes for our guys where we can take the ball when we're attacking off teams that really help off on that. That's where we've got to take advantage of it, not settle for the three unless it's wide open.
How frustrating has it been as a coach to, you just want the referees to be consistent with what they're doing. The last couple of games, it feels like different fouls have been called on him. I know they called an offensive foul on their big, Stanford's big, because he was pushing and trying to get positions, and then Braxton did kind of the same thing. But it's not necessarily been a call that's been there all year long.
Yeah, you have to be able to adapt. Every game is a little bit different how they're calling it. The big thing that we can't do is we've got to be the aggressor at the beginning. We can't, and then this is how they're going to call it. Let's just call it fair on both ends. But really, seeing how that, the game is going to be called. I've seen guys 2 hands, 1 hand, wrap around, and you just want it to be fair. And it's hard. It's a hard game. Those guys are big down there. And I think sometimes the bigger guy, sometimes you're harder on him because he's so big. I remember Isaiah just fighting down there, and it seemed like, teams are just targeted, trying to push him out of the lane and would do whatever they can and let him get away with a little bit more physical play. But we've got to adapt to that, bottom line. And this just is what it is.
Your assessment of Jackson Grant this year, let's play it. The 14 games,
yeah.
I think he had like 7 points and 21 boards. So it feels like he's regressed.
Yeah.
As he,
you know what? In fairness to Jackson, he was redshirting. I mean, that's just what it was. The thing that was great about it, and Jackson needed a year where he could develop. And Jackson's one of those guys who's really hard on himself. He's got a lot of talent, but he's really, really hard on himself. And we wanted that for him. We wanted a year of no pressure, body better, go against Frank and Braxton every day in practice, work on his shot, have that year to really develop. And when Frank went down, he made a selfless decision to do whatever he could to help the team. And so, as he played as well as he wanted to, no, as he had played as well as we want him to know. But he's a heck of a player that's just trying to find his way. And everybody has a different path. And it's been a little up and down for Jackson, especially this year.
when Inua comes in and McDonald's All-American. Yeah, that's just a heck of a something when to put on a just how hard is it to live up to that when you come in with rink and with that?
You know, it's hard. I've been doing this for 30 years, and I've seen guys. You see a guy like Damian Lillard, who's not rated, be one of the best players in the world. You know, it's just guys. I think the biggest thing is everybody has a different road and a different path, and some people put a lot of pressure on themselves. Some people embrace the pressure, but it's all about development. And I think more so with Jackson, he hasn't had. This year's been it's hard to evaluate because he did the selfless thing, what was best for the program. That's just the bottom line, and we've always believed in him. That's why we told him that we wanted him to play this year and help the team, but it was going to be his decision. And I couldn't imagine the amount of pressure social media these days, what these kids live with. They put a lot of pressure on themselves.
With another season coming to an end here, I wanted to ask about you. I had a good friend who was a Division I coach, and he told me he always used to change jobs every 5 years because he felt the fans got tired of them, the players got tired of them, the media got tired of them. You're now in year 6.
Yeah.
Do you feel good here? Do you feel wanted? Do you feel like you want to go on every 5 years? Where's your situation?
Listen, I love it here. I've always loved it here. I love who I work for. I love who I represent. Do I wish the last couple of years we had better seasons? Did I wish things happened that way? Of course, because my job is not finished because this is a championship level caliber program, and that's what I was hired to do. And so my standards, my expectations, I want to do it for the fans. I know how much Seattle loves their basketball. I know how much the alumni and Tyee Club, everybody, how much they believe in this program, and I'm here to lead it. And I always say we're so close. We got these young guys and having continuity and all those different things. But like I said, I love it here. I love who I work for. I love who I represent. But I want to bring a championship here like we did 3 or 4 years ago. That's the bottom line.
The last time you played, I don't know, Wazoo 56-51, they take a lot of threes. I mean, that's kind of like for a game. I think they took the game. How come what they took? I mean, that game, like.
And what were you at in the last game? Yeah, they take the most in the league. They're like Stanford in the sense of the way that they shoot the ball, and they are playing at a high level right now. Muhammad Guy is arguably one of the best players in the league.
Had 17 and
he gets like 15, 16 rebounds. He's a guy that they can go to in the low post. Bamba has been really good. Bamba is averaging, I think, 20 in the last 3 games. He's shooting the ball exceptionally well. They like to get him the ball when the game is tight, both those guys. And then they have guys all around him that shoot the ball exceptionally well. And so it's going to be a tough task. I thought we defended the 3-point line for the most part well down there. What hurt us was defensive rebounding and points off turnovers. Even though we only had 10 turnovers, it was a low possession game, and they scored 18 points off turnovers. That can't happen. That's what we've got to solve.
It would seem like their offense is tailor-made for your defense, but after how your perimeter defense was at Stanford, were some things exposed there that if you're afraid that maybe.
You know what? We have different ways that we can defend it. I think any type of defense, if you're pressing, if you're in man, if you're whatever you're doing, trapping, running, you got to have an urgency, you got to have awareness, and you've got to be flying around. That's the bottom line, especially in March when you see teams that make runs. Their defense plays at a high level. Against Stanford, there was moments that wasn't at a high level. We weren't getting back. We lost awareness with certain guys. We weren't flying around. We weren't disruptive. We weren't turning teams over. When we're active and we're turning teams over is when we're at our best. Bottom line.
Senior night, you guys will have many teams?
How many are we? 6. 6 guys will be walking out there and doing it. And always like the greatest time of the year, but always the saddest time of the year. Because guys they're seniors. I remember when Matisse and those guys last day, it was pretty rough for everybody. Oh, they can, yeah. And so, those are all stuff that we'll be dealing with after the season to figure out who and what, where.
Other than a game to win, you guys are locked into the 8-9 seed. You know who you're going to play next week's. What's the importance of this game on Thursday?
Senior night, home, rival. Are you kidding me? Is there a better game? This is college basketball. This is like, I just wish it was on a Saturday or Sunday, Thursday night. I wish it was that so, but it's exciting. I'm really excited. And I know the guys are. I know probably Washington State is. This game is a pride game. It's a pride game. It's a great game. They're playing well. We've had our moments in the last 4 or 5 games, and just love the opportunity.
Just to confirm it, Jamal is the only one that's for sure.
Yeah, he's the only guy on the roster that he has to leave. Hey, Jamal, you play the most games. You gotta go. Yeah. We'll hug him and give him a big hug and kiss.
When you look at a guy and his body of work over the course, it just feels like maybe at the end of seasons, I don't know, maybe something clicks and it finally comes together. Or how much of that is, okay, you see what we were trying to do, now you're seeing it work, and how much of it is, you could have just, if the thing would have clicked maybe a little earlier, how frustrating or how rewarding is that?
I think at the end of the day, I thought last year we were playing our best basketball at the end of the year, and that's what you want to do. You're always searching for that great game, like the game where 5 guys are in double figures and our defense is at a high level and we're sharing the ball and we've got more assist and turnover. All those different things is what the challenge is every day, and what you're trying to improve and get better. And so, sometimes the toughest part of your schedule is in the middle. Sometimes it's at the end. It all kind of plays out, but we're just in that quest to be playing our best game, and we still haven't seen it yet, but hopefully we're better today in practice, we're better the next day, and then we come out here and we can perform. Bottom line.
Like didn't challenge your inner Bill Walton.
No, don't challenge my. I don't want to eat a big. What was that donut that he ate? Yeah, what was my inner Bill Walton talking too much?
No.